What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to do an update on my 2018 M5. So I've had roughly 7 months of ownership. It is currently at 49,000 miles. It is my daily driver. I absolutely love this vehicle. And it has been very good to me. I've literally had no issues besides a recall that was free. And maintenance is definitely expensive on this vehicle. It's just part of it. You just have to kind of factor it in. If you want it to last and to treat you good, you definitely have to follow a pretty strict maintenance regimen. So the very first thing, really quickly, when I bought the vehicle, the oil change was done. Windshield wiper fluids, brake fluid flush, air filters. So they've done some stuff on the vehicle when I bought it. So at 45,000 miles, I went through the records. At 45,000 miles, I took it to BMW and had the spark plugs changed. I also did the microfilter. What else did I have done? I had a bad over-tightened lug nut that needed to be removed. They ended up drilling it out, removing it without damaging the rim. They did a great job with that. Removed it for me, and there were no issues there. Cleaned everything up, made it look like it never happened, put a brand new lug nut in. And then I also had the rear diff fluid changed. Now, this was pretty expensive. Honestly, I think the spark plugs are, about $230. The air filter and the microfilter, I think, is like 60-something bucks. The wheel nut removal, probably another, let's say, 200. And then the rear diff is about, I think, 400 bucks or so. So it wasn't terrible to get everything done. I think all in, I was roughly at about $1,000 worth of maintenance. So that was my very first maintenance bill for this vehicle at 45,000 miles. I just wanted to get it to the 8th interval, so I didn't have to worry about any other maintenance at the time. So that was done. And then hold on one second. Let me flip this up. I don't want to leave any information out there. Where's the mileage on this one? At 47,000 miles, I noticed some water or some liquid around my coolant tank. And I call it BMW. They did say this particular vehicle is under the recall. So they did that completely free. They gave me a loaner vehicle. Took about a day and a half or so. Well, actually 2 days, because it did take some time for them to get the parts. They did also replace all the injectors through 5 through 8. So they replaced all those injectors. Water, I guess liquid did get down in there. They did take the spark plugs out and check them. I guess I caught it pretty quickly because I literally check it probably like once a week, because I knew with this particular vehicle, that is a known issue, and I knew it was just a matter of time. Mine lasted to 47,000 miles before I had an issue. So typically they can go sooner and they can go much later as well. So it's just depends on the tank itself. Like I said, mine went, and it was where it was leaking is kind of towards the back. So be aware that it can kind of be hidden. If your car starts to act funny, I guarantee that's what the issue is. I caught mine pretty early because the longer you have it, not only does it damage the injectors, but it also can damage your spark plugs. So lucky for me, mine are newer spark plugs. They tested them. They cleaned them. Everything was perfect. No issue there. So they just replaced the injectors. And I'm sure this is not a cheap repair, but it cost me absolutely nothing. So I was really happy with that. I don't know as far as any warranties or any guarantees, excuse me, that they give you from the dealership. I figure worst case scenario, another 40 to 50,000 miles and the tank may go bad. So at that point, I may replace it with I know there's metal options. I know there's even mounting brackets that go underneath it that kind of catches, like a little pan that kind of catches the fluid. I know there's quite a few options out there, but I just decided to go ahead and do the recall at no cost and just see if this one actually holds up. Now, there is a part number here. I don't know if this is the new revised version or if it's the same tank or if they revised the way they manufacture these. I don't know what the true cause of it was, but if you do some research, it's a very well-known issue, so just be aware of that. So I did take care of that, so hopefully that should last. Maybe it's the newer part and it lasts for as long as I own the car, or at least, you know, the same mileage I already got out of it. It was what I'm hoping. So, yeah. So they gave me a loaner vehicle on that. They also gave me a loaner vehicle on this as well, completely free. That's one of the things I like about BMW. I actually had a 440M convertible as that loaner for that one. And then as far as the coolant tank, I think they gave me, I forget what car they gave me for the coolant tank. I don't know why I can't remember. And then also gotten a electric car, which we'll talk about here in a second. So the other maintenance I had done was at, let me flip this up, 48,000 miles. I changed the oil. Now you can see in the instructions, wait to not reset the oil, because I plan on doing 2 oil intervals within that 9,000 mile range. So basically I'm changing the oil every 4,500 miles. I think that's just ridiculous to go that long on this oil. They did put the 030 recommended oil in it. Honestly, once you get in the higher mileages, I definitely recommend much better oil. But for now, I think the car has been well taken care of. I do have service records. And that's what they recommend as of right now. Once we get higher mileage, I'll probably end up changing the oil to something better. So I do plan on changing it definitely early. I know a lot of guys change it around like 3,000. I think that's kind of crazy. I figure the halfway point is perfect, so they don't reset it. By the time it's actually due is when I get the second oil change, and that way it's not putting me ahead on the intervals. It's keeping everything on track, because if you set it too early, then it throws off all the trips and all the different intervals. So important that you don't do that. What else did I get with the oil change? I think that was just it, was just the oil change. I did do one other thing. I can't find the paperwork for it, but my front brakes were squeaking. Now I looked at the rotors. I'd say the rotors were just under half-life or so. They still had decent thickness. I would never turn these rotors, especially within cross-drilled, and as thick as they are new, and then after you get some mileage on them, I think these rotors had 38,000 miles. For some reason, the brakes were changed at 10,000 miles, pads and rotors, and then at about 48,000 miles or so, the squeaking got really, really bad. I couldn't stand it. I've had them cleaned. I've done all these different things, and I just could not get them to stop making noise. I did the recommended braking where you can clean them that way, even though sometimes they can make noise without being needed to be changed. But to me, I saw a little bit of lip on my rotor. My pads were about maybe 50% or so. So I just went ahead and talked to BMW. Now, doing brakes through them would have been $1,700. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but to me, that's kind of high. So I decided to go to Parks Geek, and I got the SHW rotors. They're literally the same manufacturer that makes the OEM rotors for BMW. They're the same exact size, everything to the T, same cross-drilled, all of it. It's literally the same manufacturer that actually makes them for BMW. I was able to pick up 2 front rotors for, I believe they were 3 and some change a piece, about $313 a piece or something like that, which isn't bad compared to what BMW offered. And then I paid another $295 for pads and the brake sensor. You will need to replace that as well. The brake sensor itself was actually a BMW part. I didn't want to have any issues with that. So all in, I think, was just shy of $1,000 for parts. Now, I reached out to BMW. They were kind of hesitant on putting the pads on. And I explained to them, like, it's really expensive. I know this is a performance vehicle. I know what this vehicle costs to do. But it just didn't make sense to me when I can get the parts the same, basically the same thing. Actually, the pads, I think, are just a little bit better. And I convinced the service manager. When a service techs talked to a service manager, they said they couldn't guarantee the parts, which I understand, that they could put them on. I think they ended up charging me $240 to put them on. I think it was like $200 for labor, like $2 and some change for labor, and then some miscellaneous, I guess, shop stuff, probably like brake cleaners or whatever else they used, the squeak stuff they put on certain parts of the pads on the backside or whatever. So they did do all that. They cleaned it really, really well. They hand washed my vehicle each time I took it there. There was never any grease or anything dirty anywhere on the vehicle. At least this particular dealership, it is the one in Kemper. It's BMW North. They just were absolutely phenomenal. I think when I got my brakes put on, even though they were using my parts, they still gave me a free i5 loaner. The electric vehicle actually wasn't bad. They're pretty expensive. I think they're like almost $80,000. It was a little electric 5 Series, and I actually enjoyed driving it. It had a lot of tech. That loaner was free. Didn't even have to put gas back in it because it was electric. So I thought that was kind of cool, at least for the loaner part of it. So they did an absolutely phenomenal job with all the work I had done to my vehicle. I am 100% caught up. I've even had the tank recall done. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm on top of it. There will be, I think the 8th interval will have the transfer case fluid flush. I think that's like $300 or $400, and I still should be good for a little while after that. I'm at 49,000 miles, so not too far in it. I think it's good mileage considering it's a 2018. I do daily drive it to work. Fortunately for me, it's only 7 miles each way, so that's helping a lot. But still, in a 7-month period, I put quite a few miles. I think like 5,000 miles I put on it in a 7-month period. So I definitely drive it and enjoy it on the weekends. I just absolutely love it. I'm really happy that the brakes make no noise now. That was one of my biggest gripes. As far as interior, everything else is holding up perfectly. It's just amazing. I absolutely love driving it. I really have no complaints. Fuel economy is actually surprisingly good, even though I don't drive too far. And part of the drive is on a 60 mile per hour stretch. So you can, get in 8th gear and kind of cruise. On the highway, I've seen it as high as 27 miles per gallon. Typically I'm easily averaging 21 or 20. So not bad at all. My Scat Pack was averaging like, that V8 Scat Pack was averaging, I think, like 16 miles per gallon when I was being slow on it, like easy on it. And this thing, I'm being easy on it as well, but it's definitely getting better fuel economy. It's surprising, actually. It's just been great. Honestly, I don't want to modify it or do anything to it. It's just solid. I have a 3-year warranty. I don't want to interfere with that. I don't think it needs more. I've done videos where I had it at the track. It is very capable. And I do believe that it started leaking around the time I had it at the track. So it could have messed with some of those injectors that were getting liquid in them. So I ran 11.0 flat. I believe it has a 10.9 something in it, like a 10.98 or a 10.88, something like that. I've seen different results depending on the, DA and the temperature and all the bunch of different factors. But, and I did have a lot of fuel in the vehicle. I mean, there's a lot of factors. I should have probably let a little air out of the tires. They're a little bit overinflated. Just small factors like that will get you that 800th of a second I needed to get to 10 seconds. So I'm still blown away and impressed. I may run one more time at Edgewater in the fall, and that'll be enough for me. I don't want to beat it or hurt it in any type of way. I want to see how many miles I could put on this thing. There are known to be M5s, like 2018s and 2019s, to be well over 100,000 miles. I think the highest one is like 190 I've seen. So you can get up that high. Probably a lot of that is honestly probably highway mileage, but still, that's a lot of mileage. I think they had a couple coolant tanks done to it, and then all the magnets. Nothing too major with it. Definitely do 2 oil changes per cycle. And they do have a oil change plan. I'm not sure it's at all BMWs. I did notice it's part of the BMW Care Plus or something. The oil change is normally, I want to say $179 with tax and everything. It's like $200. And I think it's like $210 or $220 for the oil plan thing. And basically what will happen is you'll get 1 free oil change a year. So you'll change it twice a year like I would or whatever, but one of those would be free. So that's the advantage of that. You can get, instead of getting 1 every 9,000, you can get 2. That way it's much cleaner, much better for your motor, and you can get a lot, you get a better deal that way. So that's maybe something you guys are interested in. Honestly, once I break, this will probably be my last 030 oil change. Honestly, I didn't know it was that light. I just realized it. I figured BMW would know best, but from the research I've done, everyone recommends like a 540 Molly or something really good like that with some good additives in it. And I get that, but I feel like I'm within that window and I'm changing it often enough to really make a difference. So we'll see. I may switch. I'll let you guys know what I switch to. But at least I'll get 1 more, probably around, I don't know, around winter time or spring. And 40, well, actually now I'm down to like 3,200 miles till my oil changes due. So it should be sooner than I think. So yeah, but all in all, just a great vehicle. I would still recommend it. Just be prepared to spend a lot of money on maintenance. It's not cheap. There's no way around it. Even if you do it yourself, BMW parts are very expensive. Beamer World was good to me when I bought parts. So was Parts Geek. So really just find out, find what's on sale. If you see a crazy or a really good deal, I recommend just getting it and holding on to it till it's time to do the maintenance. There's just ways like that you can save. It does add up. So yeah, great vehicle. Still recommend it any day of the week. Just take care of it and they'll take care of you. That's my main thing with BMWs. A lot of them get neglected, beat to death, no maintenance, and then they wonder why they break down. So that's it for this one, guys. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I will do maybe a nice driving video or something, maybe get some cool shots or something. I know it's been a while since I posted on this channel. I've just been crazy with work, but at least I can give you guys this update and kind of let you know how my car's doing. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys.